Hey guys, welcome back to another market review session with us. And as our tradition is, as you already know, we'll just look at some indices together and then we'll be looking at some currency pairs and commodities. All right, so first off, let's look at DXY, which is the US dollar currency index. Sorry. All right, so first off, as you can see here from last week, we were expecting a level of strength on the dollar, and we got to see that happen from this zone that was given. All right, and now for this week, we'll be expecting weakness. All right, I'll be expecting as it were weakness from the dollar during the course of this week. However, I have two zones, as you can see here, marked out that I want to be watchful for. Now, I'll just give you my reasons or my reasoning, as it were, towards these two zones. First off, this one. All right, this is between 103.657 and 103.432. All right, as you can see here, this zone acted as a support once, twice, the third time, and even a fourth time, all right, before it finally got broken. All right, now I want to watch out for that zone possibly becoming a pivot, and then we get to see a rejection from that zone. All right, 103.657 and 103.432. In the occurrence that zone gets broken, however, I'm watching out for this zone just above it. All right, this is around 104.138 and 103.839. All right, that being said, my overall bias for DXY during the course of this week would be for it to lose strength. All right, for it to be weaker. All right, so bearish. All right, on DXY. Next up, let's look at BXY, which is the Great British Pound Currency Index. All right, and as you can see here, I'm expecting a level of strength, or some strength from BXY during the course of this week. All right. However, I want to watch out for some probabilities. First off is the fact that we have this trend line that I've already marked out here. All right, so it's one of two things for me. If I get to see this trend line being broken, all right, then my next zone or my next lookout would be this zone around 126.60 and 126.01. All right, so as soon as market opens, I'm either expecting that strength to just show itself, all right, or we get to see market still drop a little bit into this zone, and then we get to see that push up from there. Overall, my bias for BXY would be bearish. All right, so we might just get to see a little bit of a sell before that buy happens, but overall my bias for the week is bullish. All right, bullish on BXY, bullish. All right, so next up, let's look at AXY, the Australian dollar currency index, and again from AXY, as we were expecting last week, we're expecting some level of weakness. We got to see that play out quite nicely also, and for this coming week, all right, I'll be expecting strength. From AXY, and as you can see, I'm having a sell to buy. The arrow is indicating a sell to buy. My reasoning towards this is because we have this fair value gap around here, and I'm watching out for the possibility of price coming to clear the liquidity from that fair value gap. All right, I'm watching out for price coming to clear the liquidity from that fair value gap before going towards the upside for that buy. All right. However, if that doesn't happen, if at all that doesn't happen, what that would mean, right? That would be that this fair value gap, as it were, would become our new support, or will become our order block, right? And then we get to see a buy happen immediately. We get to see price, or we get to see markets open. All right. However, overall, my bias on AXY is bullish. It is bullish. All right. So I will just watch out for the first few hours of the first for the first day of the week. Right. That will just be Monday. I want to see if there's that possibility of us having a clear candle showing us that yes, there is strength. All right. And if I don't see that, then I'll be expecting price to still drop a bit lower into this zone. All right. I hope that is clear for AXY. Next up, let's look at CXY, which is the Canadian dollar currency index. And similarly to what we had on AXY, we're expecting some level of weakness on CXY also. And we got to see that happen quite well. All right, you can see that this weird candle you're looking at here, this long wick candle, both up and down, all right, was as a result of some news releases, I guess. All that being said, my bias for CXY for the course of this week, all right, would be bullish also. I'll be expecting some level of strength on CXY rather. I'll be expecting some level of strength on CXY. Again, my reason is just as before. We've seen that price has come a bit lower. It has cleared out some liquidity from this fair value gap, all right, and we can see that currently price is giving us that probability of it getting a rejection from this zone. All right, from this zone. Now I'm not expecting this rejection to necessarily be a strong one. All right, it would be better for me to see what I'll be expecting would be something towards the line of a buy to sell. All right, a buy to sell. However, I expect that buy to be a bit strong. All right, I expect that buy to be a bit strong. All right, so I think I marked this out using my Fibonacci. All right, Yes, I marked this out using my Fibonacci, all right? So I just want you to have that at the back of your minds. Overall, my bias for CXY during the course of this week is bullish, all right? But I'm not necessarily expecting that strength to last for too long, all right? Next up, let's look at JPY basket. All right, and as you can see also on JPY basket, we're expecting a sell-off. I think I gave these two zones, all right, as probable zones, and we got to see that price played out quite well from this second zone that we marked out here between 6725 and 6679. All right, and currently we are seeing that JPY basket is looking bearish. All right, it has broken this quote unquote, all right, previous low, all right, and it's looking to still drop a bit more. Now, for the course of this week, however, I would want to watch out for some level of strength. However, I'm going to still explain what I'm saying now. All right, I want to watch out for a level of strength on JPY basket. However, I want to just watch out for this exact zone. Now, this would be the most idealistic move for me. All right, this is between 6518 and 6484. This would be the most idealistic move for me for price to still dip a bit lower into that zone before we get to see our buy happen. All right, and let me just see if I can mark this out here. Let me delete all these arrows and just mark this out here. This would be, or this for me would be the most ideal move for price to make on JPY basket. All right, sell to buy to sell. So overall, I'm expecting JPY basket just for this week at least, all right, to gain some strength. All right, however, I just want to watch out for price to get into this zone, all right, before we get to see that strength on JPY basket. All right, this second sell might not necessarily happen this week. It might have to happen next week, all right, but we'll just watch out for the amount of volatility that we get to see in the market during the course of this week. All right, so let's look at everybody's favorite commodity, gold, XAU, USD. Now, as you can see, as I said during the course of last week's market review, I said that I was not necessarily going to be trading gold. However, I was expecting gold to be bearish, and we got to see some bearish reactions on gold. All right. During the course of this week, I want to be watchful for a few things, and I'm going to explain them to us now. All right, first off, I want to be watching out for that bearish continuation actually on gold. I want to watch out for this. All right, this was our previous all-time high. This was around 214. This was around 2144.63 or so. Right, that was our previous all-time high. And as you can see here, there's every possibility for us to still come back towards that place. Now, one of two things can happen when we come back to that place. Either that place becomes a support and we get to see price gets pushed up, or it fails. All right, and we get to see price just break that and keep going lower. I would be leaning towards the latter, all right? That will be for price to just keep dropping towards the downside, all right? However, I just want to be watchful. So for me, I would watch out for price to still drop a little bit into this point, all right? Into that previous all-time high I said earlier, 2144.63 or so, all right? However, it is marked out on your chart, all right? So overall, my bias on gold would be bearish. However, that could change if I get to see that we get to see probably a lower time frame confirmation showing us that there is every possibility of gold gaining more strength, all right, from that previous all-time high. All right, so I hope that is clear for gold. Next up, let's look at USD CAD. And for USD CAD, we're expecting, I remember I marked out these two zones rather, and I was mentioning them during the course of last week. All right, I said that I'll be expecting us to have a reaction from this zone, all right, and if at all this zone got broken, then my next point or my next zone will be around here, all right, and this current zone that I marked out around here is around 1.35845 and 1.35627, all right, and that currently would be the point where I'll be looking at for a bearish reaction on USD CAD, all right. So as soon as market opens, I'm expecting one of two things, all right. Either we get to see price still pull up a bit into that zone, then we get to see our drop, or as I said earlier, I've already forgotten the commodity we're talking about, but the possibility of this, all right, imbalance becoming our order block, and then we get to see that drop. In whatever case it is, my bias on USD CAD is bearish on USD CAD. All right, so next up, let's look at GBP JPY, another fan favorite. And as you can see here, we've gotten some semblance of a reaction for a bearish move, all right, on GBP JPY. This is around the resistance. Let me just get the coordinates quickly. This is around 189.939. All right, 189.939. I'm however going to still be careful. All right, if I get to see that so to speak resistance gets broken, I'm watching out for price to still come up into this zone. All right, this is around 190.827 and 190.425. all right, so overall my bias on GBP JPY also is bearish. All right, however, I want to watch out for reactions either from this current resistance where we are at, all right, or this current horizontal resistance from where we are, or this zone I already showed us earlier, all right. I already give the coordinate for that, all right. So I hope that is clear for GBP JPY. Overall, I am bearish on that. Next up, let's look at GBP USD. GBP USD, another fan favorite. And I've been calling a lot of commodities fan favorites, but yes, you know, it's just one of those things. All right. So also for GBP USD, now I'm going to be very, very careful when I'm trading this during the course of this week. All right. I think last week I did talk about the fact that we're going to see some level of bearishness on GBP USD. We got to see that happen quite well. All right. Kudos and congratulations to all of those who were able to make, I think it's around 160 pips or so. All right. So kudos to those who were able to capitalize on that and make some profit. All right, for this week, however, I'll be expecting a level of strength, all right, on GBP USD. I'll be expecting a level of strength on GBP USD. All right, so overall, my bias for this week on GBP USD is bullish, but I want to watch out for a few things. Now, if you know me, I look out for the most probable zones or for the most idealistic zones for us to get reactions from. And for me, that zone here would be this point. This is around 1.26715 and 1.26356. All right, that'll be a very, very probable zone for me. However, I still want to be very, very, very careful. Very, very, very careful. Let me quickly mark something out on the chart around here. All right, so as I said, I want to be very careful. Even though I'm expecting a level of strength, all right, or a level of bullishness on GBP USD, I'll just watch out for that little bit of a dip. All right, so I'll watch out for a reaction from either this place. All right, this will be a support. This is around 1.26937. all right, and if I get to see that support fail, all right, then I'll be watching out for this zone I mentioned earlier, 1.26715 and 1.26356. all right, so I'll just be watching out for that. So an idealistic move for me on GBP will be for us to have a sell to buy to sell. All right, even though overall my bias for this week is bullish. All right, so this second sell might not necessarily get to happen. Let me just delete some of these arrows. All right, for the sake of safety and the sake of clarity, let me delete some of these arrows. All right, so I'm bullish, all right, on GBP USD, so I'm expecting something towards this end, all right, on GBP USD. All right, so I hope this is clear. I'll be expecting something towards this end on GBP USD. Now, in the course of this week, if we get to see that during the course of this week, probably USD immediately just moves and it just gets weaker directly, all right, from the zone I showed earlier when I was on the DXY chart, then there's every possibility for us to just get to see price just move up towards this zone. All right, immediately. All right, so I hope that it's clear for GBP USD. Overall, I am bullish on GBP USD. However, I want to watch out for those points. All right, either we have it immediately or we get it from this resistance is around 1.26937, or from this zone I talked about earlier. This is around 1.26715 and 1.26356. all right, so I hope that is clear for GBP USD. All right, next up, let's look at USD CHF. I believe this is quite explanatory. All right, I'll be expecting a level of weakness on USD CHF at least up to this point. All right, at least up to this point. This is 0.88056. So I'm watching out for what would happen when price gets into, or price gets towards, all right, that horizontal line, 0.88056. So if I can see that we have a lower time frame confirmation showing us that, oh, there's every possibility for price to change or continue bullish, all right, or go bullish rather, I'll change my bias. All right, but however, if I get to see that doesn't happen, then definitely I'll just be watching out for price to just break below this and keep going towards something around, let's say something around here. All right, so something like that will be my watch out, or what I'll be looking out for. That being said, overall my bias for USD CHF is bearish. All right, so that is clear. Next up, let's look at AUD USD. So AUD USD also, we're expecting a level of weakness, a level of bearishness on AUD USD. We got to see that happen quite well on AUD USD also during the course of last week. For this week, however, I want to be watchful for, again, like I said I think I mentioned this on gold, and I mentioned this on probably USD CAD or GBP JPY. All right, I want to watch out for the probability of price moving towards the upside immediately market opens. However, if I don't get to see that happen, then I'll be watching out for something towards this end. All right, so price gets to dip a bit lower before we get to see that bullish move. All right, so overall my bias in AUDUSD is bullish. All right, I'm expecting either from this point I've marked out here, this zone I'm looking at right now, which is between 0.65239 and 0.64988. All right, so if I don't get to see that move happening immediately market opens, then definitely I'm watching out for this zone to be our movement zone, as it were. All right, so I hope that is clear for AUD USD. All right, next up, let's look at Euro USD, Euro USD, Euro USD. All right, so for Euro USD, I'll be expecting Euro USD to be, I think I'm just going to delete this and I'm going to explain it so that for the sake of clarity. All right, for Euro USD, I'll be watching out for a buy to sell movement. Let me explain better. So something like this. Sorry, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Now again, this is a very idealistic approach in the sense that I'm expecting price to recover this imbalance, come up into, all right, this other block or this zone, all right, and then use that as a supply zone before we get to see price drop a bit lower. So overall, even though on Euro USD my bias is bullish, all right, on Euro USD overall my bias is bullish, I'll just be expecting a level for the, at least for the earlier days of this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't see price possibly push up into here before we get to see price continue towards the downside. As you can see here, currently price has not broken, or price did not break this previous low. All right, this was around 1.08688. Price did not break that. All right, so I want to watch out for the possibility of price just coming up into this zone first before we get to see that bearish move happen. All right, now I want to put this out there as a disclaimer, as a warning rather. We didn't get to see price break below this low. All right, so technically, or looking at it from a technical aspect, you expect that probably we might get to see a new high being made. All right, probably higher than this, and probably higher than this high also. All right, however, do not think that would happen. All right, do not jump at that until you get to see price preferably break above this zone I marked out. All right, 1.09447 and 1.09234, those are the coordinates. All right, so don't jump in for any long buys, as it were. All right, until you get to see price break above that zone. All right, so I hope that is clear for Euro USD. Next up, let's look at USD JPY. USD JPY, give me a minute. Yes, so USD JPY, I think something similar to what we have on probably USD CAD also, USD CHF also. All right, I'll be expecting USD JPY also to be bearish. All right, I'll be expecting that sell-off to happen. All right, so preferably I want to see price to pull up a bit into this zone. All right, this is between 150.361 and 149.769. All right, I'll be expecting price to pull up just a little bit into that zone before we get to see that bearish reaction. Preferably, if I thought we don't get to see that happen, like I said earlier, might just get to see price move immediately market opens towards the downside. All right, however, that being said, my overall bias on USD JPY is bearish. All right, so let's look at two more commodities before we call it a night. All right, so first off, let's look at GBP. This GBP NZD, yes. And currently, if you look at this, if you look at my chart, we've not seen price break above, all right, this resistance. Let's just say this is around 2.09712. We've not seen price break above that yet. All right, I want to watch out for the possibility of us getting a rejection again from there. All right, price looks to be going towards the upside, so I'm going to be watchful for price to come up into that point. All right, as I said earlier, 2.09712. All right, and then we get to see a bearish reject or a bearish reaction from there on GBP NZD. So GBP NZD, I'm watching out for a sell. All right, on GBP NZD. All right, so next up, or last rather for the night, all right, we'll be looking at AUD NZD. Now let me just go up to the daily time frame quickly. I want to show us something. All right, as you can see here, we have a trend line that has held up quite a bit for a couple of weeks now, sorry, a couple of months rather. And currently we're seeing price come towards that trend line again, and that trend line also coincides, or it also intersects with a supply zone that we've had marked out. All right, I think I marked this out on the daily. Let me confirm that, please. Yes, I marked this out on the daily. All right, as you can see here, price has even come up into the 0.5. Let me just draw that a bit better. Price has come up into the 0.5 of that other block. All right, so I'll be expecting a bearish reaction on AUD NZD. All right, so Just to clarify, I'll be expecting AUD and ZD to be bearish during the course of this week. All right, this zone, if you want to just mark it out on your chart also. So let me just get the coordinates quickly. It's between 1.08119 and 1.07653. 1.08119 and 1.07653. All right, so I hope that is clear. All right, for everyone, thank you very much for joining us for tonight's market review, and I'm very sure we're all going to have profitable weeks. All right, please make sure that before you take any of these trades, you use your own confirmation criteria. All right, make sure you have at least 3, or if possible more. All right, make sure you have confirmations left and right, up and down, all around you. Do not enter a trade without considering your risk to reward management. All right, manage your risk properly, and I'm sure we'll all be fine. All right, thank you very much for joining us for tonight's market review. Do well to comment. All right, if you have any commodities or pairs you would love for us to look at together, do well to comment. All right, like and subscribe and share to your friends.